Hello, today we are going to be talking about a type of non-verbal reasoning called similar figures. Okay, so as usual, we'll talk about the first one together and then we're going to see if we can figure out the answers all by ourselves. And just like every lesson we do, this is a sort of thing that becomes easier the more we do it. So if you're a little bit unsure at first, you find it a bit challenging, don't worry, allow yourself to feel challenged, and then as the lesson goes on, it will become clearer and hopefully more easier, or easier, I should say. All right, let's take a look. So, before we do anything, we need a quick reminder of what SNAPS is. Now, we know what SNAPS stands for because it says so on the screen. Shape, number, angle, position, size, and shading. But what is it? Like, what is SNAPS? What are those things? How do they help us? Let's go to Alexa.
It reminds us of like how we should use them to help us more
To help you.
because
Sorry, Alexa. What were you saying? Sorry, Alexa, I interrupted you there.
I was saying like how we need it to like in the exam it's better we use snaps. Otherwise, if you don't use snaps, it's not like you have to use snaps, but it's easier because then you could double check very thoroughly.
Yeah, good. So Snaps helps us, or it reminds us of the things that we can look for when doing non-verbal reasoning questions. We can look at the shapes, the number of things, the angle of things, the position of things, the sizes of things, and the way that the things are shaded. And these all come into play at some time or another during non-verbal reasoning. Okay? So take a look at the first question, right? Let me read it to you. It says, Box 1 and Box 2 share certain similarities. Choose the option from A to E that is most similar to boxes 1 and 2. Alright, so what we need to do is figure out all the ways in which box 1 and box 2 are similar. Once we've established the features that are similar, we're going to see if we can find one option that shares the same similarities. Okay. Now, like Alexa said, with snaps, so what we that it's there to remind us, but sometimes what we should do instead is see if anything jumps out to us immediately, and then sort of use snaps if we can't find anything. Right. So with this one, let's go straight to the list. So let's go to Lucas. Lucas, can you tell me something that is similar about box 1 and box 2? Are you talking, Lucas? I can see that you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. See if you can sort that out, Lucas, and message me when you've managed to sort that out. Let's go to Scarlett.
So, I think what's similar about the two is that they both have like three triangles, but the main part about the triangles is that they're all like facing the same way.
So, so they both have triangles that have the same sort of rotation, right?
Yes,
What part of snaps does that lend itself to?
position.
Precision, maybe. I think maybe angle, maybe a bit more specifically.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. No, they're very similar, position and angle. But yeah, you're right. If we look at the angles of all of the triangles in box 1, they are all at the same angle. Yeah, we've got that right angle in the bottom left. And if we look at the triangles in box 2, they are also at the same angle. They have a right angle in the top left. Okay, so even though they're not the same, the triangles are not in the same angle between box 1 and box 2, they're still similar because they both include triangles that all have the same rotation, right? And because we found that, that means we can rule out any options that do not follow that rule. So if we look at option A, it has three triangles, but they are at different rotations, aren't they? For example, this one has a right angle in the top left. This one does too, but this one has a right angle in the top right. So they're not all the same. And B's not the same either. They have triangles at different rotations. C's the same. C has three triangles in the same rotation, so we can keep that one for now. D's the same. They have two triangles that they both have the same rotation, and E has three triangles that all have the same rotation. So we've managed to get rid of two options, which is fantastic. So let's go on to see if we can eliminate any more of those options. Okay, so let's go to Himank. Himank, what else is similar about box one and box two?
About box one and box two is that they are in the circles are in the same position, but they moved it equally. Like in box one, it is in the middle. The circle's in the middle of the at this side. When it put it to south. Then it put it to south. Uh, in the middle.
Okay, all right, thank you, Himank. So I think what you mean, I think what you've said there is that they're both kind of like in the middle, like the circle is in the middle on the left hand side, and the circle's in the middle at the bottom. Okay, I think the only issue with that is that if we look at D, the circle's not in the middle, and if we look at E, the circle's not in the middle, and C kind of is, but it's not a circle. So it's definitely worth looking at that, but I feel like we can't eliminate any options based on that. But that's not a problem. We did have to consider it. So can we see anything else that allows us to eliminate any options? Chrissy, can you see anything?
Maybe like the position of the triangles,
Um,
because like on all of them, the bottom triangle is like kind of facing towards the right.
mm, is there anything a little bit clearer that these two definitely have that at least one of those options don't have? Let's
Oh,
look.
D only has two
There we
triangles.
go. Yeah, well done. So, sometimes, guys, it's best to look for the obvious things, yeah? So, like, box one has three triangles, and box two has three triangles. That's similar about them. So, we're looking for an answer that has three triangles. So, D doesn't have three triangles. It can't be D. Now we're left with C and E. And there's something glaringly obvious about C and E. We should know what the answer is now. Gasima, how can we go one step further and eliminate one more option?
I think we can go one step further because what? Well, sorry, yeah, because I think that the shapes are like flipped over.
There's something much more obvious about those shapes, Gersima. Take a look at the shapes.
Oh, that the white one, it's a square, not a circle.
Perfect, very good, Gersima. If we look at these two guys, we've got a circle in both of them. So we should expect a circle to be in our answer. So it can't be C. And therefore the answer is E. Yeah, it's got the circle, it's got three triangles at the same rotation, so it follows the rules, if you like, of box one and box two. Yeah, guys, honestly, with these sorts of questions, it's great to think outside the box and sometimes necessary. But to begin with, let's try and pick those things that are a little bit more obvious, yeah? All right, so let's move on to the next question. Now, this one, we're going to do it all by ourselves. We're going to have about 45 seconds to 60 seconds-ish to see if we can figure it out, and then we'll talk about it, okay? So, take a look at this one, guys, and let me know in the chat box what you think the answer might be. Perfect, Scarlett. Perfect, Jordan. Perfect, Sahib. That's correct, Jacob. Well done, Hemant. Well done, Emma. Well done, Thea. Well done, Alexa. Okay, 10 seconds. Well done, Gersima. Well done, Hannah. Well done, Annabelle. Well done, Thomas. Well done, Ragnar. And well done, Lucas. All right, good. Great effort, guys. Let's go and see if Lucas's microphone is working. Is your microphone working, Lucas? And if it is, what's the answer and why? It's not working, Lucas, still. It's not working. Yeah, see if you can figure that out. Let's go to Annabelle.
So I think the answer is C, because there are 3 lines that are connected and one that is not. Same
Okay,
with
so
box 2.
3 lines that are connected and one that is like kind of all by itself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
All right, so what options can we get rid of based on that?
We can get rid of A because it's too connected. We can get rid of B. We can't. B still works. Oh no, it doesn't, because it doesn't have one that's not connected.
Well noticed.
It can be C. It can't be because there are 4 connected, and it can't be E because 2 are connected. So the answer is C.
Amazing. And Annabelle, if you had to say a part of Snaps that really helped us with that, which part of Snaps would you say was kind of most important? Oh, did you mute yourself? Yeah, let me unmute you, Annabelle.
It would be angle.
Angle. We didn't really talk about rotation. What are some of the things you said to me? We spoke about the number of lines there were, didn't we?
Yeah, so it's number.
So number, definitely. Thanks, Annabelle. So number definitely comes into it. Okay, maybe position as well, kind of vaguely, because we spoke about how one was separate, one was in a different position to the others. So can you see how, even if it's quite vague sometimes, our answer always kind of has some link to a part of Snaps. Okay, that's why Snaps is really important if you can't find the answer. All right, let's go to the next one. Give that one a go, guys. Perfect, Arian. Okay. Oh no, that was your last answer, wasn't it? Excuse me. Perfect, Hannah. Very good. Perfect, Alexa. Perfect, Annabelle. Perfect, Theo. Okay, 10 seconds. Try to only give one answer, guys. There's only one answer. Perfect. Emma. Okay, right. So as I work my way down the list, I'll only select people who got the answer right, because what I don't want to do is put you on the spot. Like, if I can see that your answer wasn't correct, or if you haven't answered, I don't want to pick you because it's not fair to you, is it? So I can see, Emma, that you got the question right. So what did you say and how did you know?
So at first I realized that all of them. So at first I immediately realized that it can't be E, because instead of there being like lines which are kind of connecting, like box 1 and box 2 are, there's a circle inside. I mean, oh my goodness, I can't speak today.
Mhm.
There's a square outside of the circle, like, and the other, and there aren't for the others. There's like an there's like square on the outside, so it can't be E. And next I realized that there's only one circle in box 1 and box 2, so it couldn't be B either. And after that, it was kind of tricky for me, but at the same time, I saw that either all of the lines are like kind of like connecting from the circle, or like there's one line joined together. So I didn't really think it would be C. Oh, for a sec, but at the same time, but then I didn't think. Sorry, wait. I realized that there is in box 2 there is like 4 lines connecting, and there's like so I thought it might be A and or C, but it can't be D. Um, and then
You're doing really well, Emma. You're doing very, very well. Do you want me to take it from here, or have you got one more bit to say?
can you take it from here,
Yeah, of
please?
course, you did very well. You did very, very well. It's a difficult one to explain, this one. All right, so let me explain to you how I would do this one, right, guys? So with snaps, we need to talk about, like, let's imagine we have no idea how to answer this, right? That's when we go to snaps, and then I think about the shapes. So in box 1 and box 2, we have a circle, and we have 4 lines. Now, it might at first glance not look like we've got 4 lines in box 1. It might look like one continuous line, but because of these angles here, these right angles, we can kind of divide them into 4 lines, like sort of joined together, right? We've got 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, and 4 lines. So let's look at it from that perspective. And that's helpful because if we look in box 2, that's also got 4 lines. So it kind of feels like that's intentional, that both of them were supposed to have 4 lines. So that's the shapes done. 4 lines and 1 circle, which means we can get rid of box B. Box D has only got 2 lines, and E, because it's got it's got 4 lines and it has got a circle. In fact, shall we keep E for a minute? Because I suppose we could say, I know it's got a square around it, but it's made up of 4 sides and 4 lines. So let's keep that for a second, all right? Then we need to think about number, okay? We spoke about number. Excuse me. We need to talk about angle. Now, angle looks quite different in box 1 and box 2, because if you look at the angles of the lines in box 1, they are all, well, we've got these 90-degree lines being formed, and all of the lines are either vertical or horizontal, whereas the lines in box 2 are quite diagonal and not connected. So it feels like angle won't really play a part in this question. And if you get that feeling, move on to the next one, and the important one, which is position. Now, in box 1 and box 2, there is always one line that is creeping into the circle. Can you see that line? Sneaks into the circle. And this line here sneaks into the circle. So that's the thing that they both share. They both have a line that goes inside the circle. Because they both have that, let's see if we can get rid of any options. Now, straight away we can get rid of E, can't we? Because there are no lines entering the circle. C has a line entering the circle. And A has 4 lines entering the circle, not 1 like box 1 and box 2. And we have our answer. The answer is C. That was quite a tricky one, wasn't it? But I think it shows us how useful snaps is as well. All right, well done guys, you're doing very well. Let's take a look at the next question. Give that one a go. Perfect Theo. Perfect Jordan. Perfect Emma. Perfect Lucas. Perfect Annabelle. Perfect Himank. Perfect Hannah. Perfect Thomas. Perfect Gersima. Perfect Scarlett. Perfect Alexa. Perfect Ragnar. Perfect Arianoki. All right, 10 seconds. Perfect Jacob. Perfect Sahib. All right, let's go to the list to see if okay, we've Got Arianoki who have the correct answer. So, Arianoki, what is the correct answer and how do you know?
The correct answer is B, and I know this because on box 1 and box 2, it says that it has a triangle pointing the opposite direction of where the arrow is pointing.
Awesome.
And
So, before you go any further, just to clear what Arianoki set up and to establish its place in snaps, what they're saying is the point of the triangle is pointing away from the arrowhead in both box 1 and box 2. So, Arianoki, what part of snaps would that relate to?
position.
Position and also, I reckon, angle as well.
Oh yeah, because it's a different angle here.
Yeah, even if it feels vague, it's fine. Angle and position, awesome. All right, let's keep going. So,
Also, A, it has the triangle pointing the same way as the arrow, and B doesn't, and C does, and D does, and E does. So the answer is B.
Perfect. Very, very good. Well explained. Now, this is why we need to be careful with the way we use snaps, right? Because if let's say, right, that we use snaps from the beginning and we're like, right, let's look at all the shapes. Then we'd see that we've got a triangle, a circle, and an arrow. Triangle, a circle, and an arrow. And then we look at all of these, and they've all got triangles, circles, and arrows. And then we look at number. Okay, this has got 3 objects. This has got 3 objects. This has got 3 objects. And we're kind of wasting time. Because there's only one thing that really matters here, and that's the position of the triangle, or the rotation of the triangle, which is the third or fourth feature of snaps. So that's why it's a good idea to first take a look and see what jumps out at you, which I'm sure many of you did, and notice that the triangle is pointing the opposite direction of the arrow. Remember, snaps is there for us when we can't get the answer. When we're struggling to get the answer, it's there to sort of fall back on. All right, very good, guys. Let's take a look at the next one. Perfect. Annabelle? Perfect. Jacob? Perfect. Scarlett? This one's a bit tricky, isn't it? But if you look very carefully, the answer is there. You just got to look really carefully. Perfect. Ragnar? Perfect. Hannah? Perfect. Saheb? Perfect. Lucas? All right, 10 seconds. Perfect. Theo? Theo, don't spam your answer, please. Customer, please don't misuse the chat box. All right, let's go to the next person in the list, Theo, because you were correct. You are correct. Theo, what's the answer and how do you know?
The answer is D, because on box 1 and 2, you have 4 black lines and 1 white line. So we can rule out C and E because they only have 3 lines and 2 lines.
Perfect.
For box 1, 2 of the lines are touching each other and 2 of the other lines are parallel. And that works for B, but it doesn't work for A.
What do you mean, sorry? 2 of the lines are touching each other
Like,
and 2 are parallel.
on box 1, like there's 2 lines on the top of the white line touching each other, but on the bottom 2 they're parallel.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Does that work for box 2?
Well, they are parallel, but one, no, it doesn't.
That's fine. You're doing very well. You're doing very well because we just have to make sure that that both of them agree with the rules. So you did well because C and E we can get rid of, but there's something else going on. Can you see what else? Can you see the other thing that's more concrete that is definitely happening between 2 of them?
The white line is
Do you want me to ask someone else, Theo?
yeah.
Yeah, you've done very well. You've got the answer correct, which goes to show you guys that by using deduction, you can still get the answer because Theo has got it correct. But let's try and figure out the exact reason. Ragnar, what do you think?
I've just got to wait for him to come back in.
Look, what the answer?
I've already 400, nearly 400's already gone.
Sorry, Ragnar, I couldn't hear you. Let's quickly go to Gersima.
So, is the answer D?
Yeah, but why?
So, I think it's D because in all of them, the white line is like above on the 2 black lines instead of the first one. And all the ones are there. The E has the 2 lines instead of 4. D is all right. C is all right, but the line isn't on the 2 lines. And B isn't correct since it's not on the two lines and A's the same.
I think I know what you're saying there, Gers, mate. It's a bit tricky to explain this one. Let me just quickly clear that up a bit. I think this is what you mean, Gersima. Take a look really carefully here, guys, right? Can we see that the black line in box 1 and box 2 has one leg? Let's call it a leg. Why not? Yeah? The black line has one leg in box 1, and in box 2, the black line has one leg. You see that? In box 1, the white line has two legs. Yeah? And in box 2, the white line has two legs. So this is a rule that both boxes have agreed on. They've agreed that a white rectangle or white line, whatever you want to call it, has two legs, and the black rectangle has one leg. Because they both agree with that, we have to find options that also agree with that. Okay, so let's first check to see if all of our options have black lines with one leg. Now, A has a black line, but it's got two legs, so it can't be that one. B has a black line, but it's got two legs and not one leg, so it can't be that one. If we go to D, it has a black line and it has one leg, so it's looking good. But also let's check the white rectangle. So remember, the white rectangle or the white line has two legs here and two legs over here, and in D our white rectangle also has two legs. Okay, so it agrees with the rules of box 1 and box 2, so it must be D. Yeah, pretty tricky that one. Do not worry if you did not get it correct, okay? It's all about practice and remembering to use snaps and making sure that we consider all of the features. All right, well done, guys. So we are going to finish now.